Alright, so this is Taste from Blooded Kittens again. I'm doing an interview at WarGames Con with Paul Murphy. He won Best General last year and generally places pretty high in a lot of tournaments, so he's generally a good guy, but there's, you know, of course, since you win so many games, he's probably a little bit of douche somewhere hiding in there. And he beat me today already in mirror match, so with tank shocking of all things. But anyway, I'm going to ask some questions about the tournament tomorrow and what he's doing. So first question, so what do you expect from the championship tomorrow? It's been a year since last, you did pretty well then. Any meta changes with the new codexes? What's your deal?
Oh, definitely. Dark Eldar and the Grey Knights are going to have probably a huge presence, especially, you know, with the Venoms just coming out, and Grey Knights can't keep them on the shelf, and I expect to see a bunch of them. So lots of volume of fire armies that make it difficult to stay on objectives. You know, that's really what it's going to be about.
So what about your list? So you played IG last year, what's going on this year?
Blood Angels, I've had a lot of luck with them this year, and it kind of suits my play style. I prefer to kind of get up and get in your face. And that's what they do best, and I'm not taking the razor spam business like a lot. It's a valid army. A lot of people like it. Some people like to play against it because of the whole multiple scoring unit.
Yeah, I posted your list on Adepticon for your players list. Is it similar to that, or is there changes?
I added a 150 point assault squadron right now. So just adding one, because here these guys focus a lot on tactics and whatnot, which is good. I really like. But I like the ability to maybe have somebody else who I don't mind kind of holding back and maybe sitting on an objective if I need to, if I feel like that's what the army, the mission dictates. Or giving me somebody another power fist to throw in right down somebody's throat. So,
you know, I track a lot of tournament results and that sort of thing, and one thing I've noticed consistently, with the exception of Jawa balls, is I haven't noticed Blood Angels really taking the final prize. And is there any reason why you think that's the case? I mean, they're Marines, and, you know, it's like, why haven't they broken through, you know? Kind of like that lost codex that's in between stuff now with Grey Knights and Space Wolves before them, you know?
They have a lot of toys and tricks in the list, and I really think that a lot of army builders get confused as to what they should really be taking. So it ends up kind of diffusing the overall potency of the list. And you know, they don't get a lot of things cheap other than the transport. That's why people go with the Razorback. And if right now, I mean, most people are anti-mag. So if you're relying on vehicles to get the day one for you, then you're going to run into roadblocks against that. I prefer to play with some of the more aggressive special characters. Yeah. And that's where I think a lot of, I hate to say luck, but that's where a lot of it comes from, because if your opponent doesn't have an answer for them, and those are sometimes fewer, harder to come by, then they can kind of run rampant, get a lot of business done, and therefore they don't have time to get rid of your scoring. Right. So I guess while they may be not that dominant, and you know, just like on Java balls, I've never encountered him, so I don't know how he plays or what he plays or
he plays the mech spam with the Razorbacks and, you know, ball predators. I mean, he plays just basically the mechanized version. I mean, he's the only one that in my tracking has won tournaments. Sure. So that's the only reason I mentioned.
Well, no, I mean, I've seen his paint. This looks really good. I just don't know. I don't know who he plays. That's the only reason why I say it that way. No offense to John.
Yeah. I'm sure he'll be okay. John was a cool guy.
But I think that's the main thing, is that they're focusing the most on that. That's what they try to take in the competitive. And there's still a stigma against special characters, and I think they're in the book to be taken. I mean, they're there, they have models, and use them.
So you're telling me if when people see Mephiston you roll with, and they sigh, you're like, why are you sighing?
Well, I mean, he's manageable. Yeah, the opponent can manage him but that's actually why I take the Sanguinary, because he makes up for a lot of gaps that Mephiston has, and vice versa. So if someone's prepared to deal with Mephiston, you cram the face down, you're in the face of the Sanguinary, or vice versa. Yeah. And the Sanguinary is just such a huge force multiplier that, I mean, it really, really helps. And a lot of the I look at Blood Angel lists all the time also, and for people that I know that are kind of serious tournament people, I don't see them taking these things. And either because personal preference or whatever, that's fine. I just find that it works for me, really.
Yeah. Well, one last Blood Angel question that I have to ask, and I have the same love for it, and all my friends back in West Coast have love for it, the Storm Raven. It's a great vehicle. I've heard you say it's a great vehicle. Why should people be taking Storm Ravens? They poo-poo it a lot, but why should you take a Storm Raven?
I personally think 100% the Storm Raven is the best vehicle in the game.
205, 210 points?
Yeah, depending on how you equip it. You know, anywhere 200, it doesn't go any higher than 215, 220 or whatever. But it is almost impossible to keep you from delivering the payload to, I mean, that's You can either hold it in reserve and come screaming on, from the edge of the table, or you go first and move it up and deliver your people. I mean, that's, or you flat out or what have you to give them the cover save. A lot of people will also take Corbulo in there to give you that reroll for the missed cover save. I don't do that, but it's very valid to do. And it's only because, in my opinion, like I never fire the bowstring missiles. I mean, they're on there, but I used them the first time in the Adepticon, and they didn't do anything for me.
I find the blood strike missiles I've seen people do, they fail. For whatever reason, they shouldn't, but they fail. And you're like, why did I waste my turn with this awesome units that are inside here? Turn of shooting when I should have just not spend the points and just ram that thing in his throat.
Corn Berserkers never wound anybody with their pistols. I don't know what it is, something in the out there in the meta, but like the meta universe.
Yeah, exactly.
But I really believe the Storm Raven, if used properly, and it doesn't take that much training or skill to use it properly, will get you that 500 points, 600 points of face beat in your opponent, and then. When you, like I personally use Terminators, I use 3 Thunderhammer Storm Shields, 2 Lightning Claws, I put a Priest and a Chaplain in there, and most people just either they don't anticipate the movement because after you deploy, you're out of your base, and you've got a larger base, and you can cover a lot of ground with this vehicle, and that's why I believe it's almost impossible. Like I can't recall a game where I haven't been able to charge off, and that just you can collapse an entire fight just what's in the Storm Raven.
Oh yeah, especially. And then did you say throw the Dreadnought on there too? Or?
Well, okay. I mean, a lot of people believe that it's got you might as well take it. Yeah. I don't take it because all my elite choices are full of. If I weren't taking the Sanguiner or what have you, I would move the Chaplain to the familiar HQ slot and then take a Dreadnought in there. It's just not necessary. Although it's good. I mean, if you can find a way, if your playstyle lets you have it open up that slot. But there's a lot of competition for elites in the package.
All right. Well, thanks, Paul, for talking. We'll see if you can win Best General again, or maybe Best Overall.
We'll put one higher. We'll see.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But I'll be tracking him tomorrow. I probably won't interview him, but I'll definitely check in on seeing how he's doing. And make some posts on the blog. Some updates about how the people that won last year, how they're doing this year. So thanks again, and see you later.
See you. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks. Blood Angel love. There you go.